Hi, welcome to DT's fitness journey. Today I want to talk about how to trust your fat loss journey. Stay tuned. Hi, welcome back. In today's video I want to talk about trusting your fat loss diet or journey, and I want to explain that with two examples. So let's go to the whiteboard. So this is the first example. You see here the timeline on the horizontal axis, and on the vertical axis you see the body weight. And the initial body weight, you want to lose weight, so it's higher, and you see that the process is to lower your body weight. And this is the example where it goes wrong for that individual, because you see initially when he or she starts the diet, the body weight drops. And in this drawing I have assumed that the muscle that the individual has will be he will keep that muscle mass, assuming that he is adequate training, so he has sufficiently training, and his protein intake is also sufficient, and that means that we focus only on the fat loss. And you see initially that the individual loses body weight, and the red area you see is the weight that he loses as water weight, and the blue area is the fat. So when the one individual, he or she, loses fat, you see it drops, and then there comes a time when the body weight stays the same. You can also call it a plateau. What happens is actually that when you plateau, but you are still in a calorie deficit, you are in a negative energy balance, you still keep losing fat. But because of your internal environment, how your body reacts on stress, for example, you will keep dropping fat, but you won't see that on your body weight scale, because you might have a period of high stress in your life, which makes that you retain more water, and but you don't see that fat loss on the body weight scale. And this individual does trust the process until here, until this time, but eventually the trust and the adherence on the diet gets a hit, and that individual starts eating uncontrollably, for example, unstoppable, and gains all that fat or even more back. So he or she ends on an even higher body weight on the end of the time scale. But if you will draw this further, you can see that when this individual starts again with cutting or losing fat, he or she will drop and then gain again. So this is what is called a yo-yo diet. And eventually the individual will lose weight but gain higher body weight. Lose weight, gain higher body weight, and it will be doing that until he or she realizes that he or she needs to break this cycle. So okay, let's go to the good example. Here we have the same graphs. So the axis is again the time scale, body weight is the vertical axis. Here you see that the fat decreases over the whole period. We assume again that we retain the muscle mass, and because we assume that the individual does sufficient training to keep the muscle on, and also has an adequate amount of protein intake. And the next assumption is that the individual is on a negative energy balance. That means that he or she is in a calorie deficit. So by principle, below, actually, he or she will lose weight. But as you can see on the wrong example, that principle of fundamentals is not enough. This is also a mental, emotional thing that plays, in which case the adherence to the diet is broken. So in this good example, we see that the body weight, so fat and water weight, is decreasing. And you see that the plateau is coming here, and you experience at some points in time a flush. You'll see that on some days or overnight you will lose 1 kg, 1.5 kg. And how that's possible, I don't know. But this is also what I have experienced myself. So what's important is that when you plateau, it's important that you keep trusting the fat loss process. But be sure that you are really in a negative energy balance. Because if you are trusting the process and you're not are in a calorie deficit, then you may be on a plateau forever. So be sure, be honest about yourself. And if you're not honest, ask someone to look at your diet. And be also honest with tracking your food. So that's also something. So this individual noticed multiple flushes over time, and you see that the body weight decreases. So the takeaway message of today's video is to have trust in your fat loss journey. But you can only trust your fat loss journey if you really know that you are in an energy deficit or a negative energy balance. And so that's today's message. If you have any questions or remarks or any other ideas, please share those with me, and see you until the next video.